I think that, we could talk about this in a whole show.
Yeah.
But, because of that, it kind of very much limited the access, the world, and who could be a part of that world and the stories that were told. I think and I'm also very much optimistic. So I try to look at things. I know my energy flows where my attention goes. So I look at the positive in things, not to say that other things don't exist, but I'm going to look at the positives of what's going on now. I feel it's created a space where any and everyone can be a storyteller and can tell their story. Where before there was a lot of gatekeeping, where people didn't have the access to tell the stories they wanted to tell and to share those stories. Yes, I'm not saying that it's easy to get on the Netflixes and the Amazons and the this of the world, but there are so many platforms where people can tell their stories now, where that didn't exist before. I appreciate that it also creates room and space to tell a variety of stories, because I feel like for so long, and a lot of times people look at it as just Black stories or white stories, and I don't consign to that. Like, stories are stories. They're about people. They're about your experiences. You, of course, as being a Black person, there's certain cultural things that are universal to our story, but then there are a whole lot of things that aren't. Every Black, I always say, like, having graduated from Spelman, a lot of people are like, how did you go to Spelman? All these Black women, everybody's just the same. I'm like, no. Have you ever met two Black women who are exactly the same? Because I haven't. So it's the beauty of being able to tell the rainbow and the variety of our stories, of, just our experiences. Even, I'm taking it back to like ADW and the diaspora. There are Black people everywhere.
Yeah.
And we all have different experiences, but some that are just culturally the same. So it's the beauty of being able to tell all of those different stories and learn and embrace and grow as a result of it. You can get into the behind the scenes mechanics of business and all those things and have a whole bunch of things to say. Who's greenlighting, who's not, who's putting money behind, who's not. But this right here is a testament that you all said, you know what? We want our voices to be heard and we want to tell our stories, because not everybody's hood, right? So we're going to tell the variety of the diaspora and the variety of the experiences. So that's what you did. And here we are today. So this is the beauty of where we are right now.
I really love the idea that when I turn on a television and I see Black characters, they're not all the same. They're not all a monolith, as we say. And that really, my test is always, could I exchange the characters out and make them Black or white and it not matter? And that makes for a really good script. And that happens a lot abroad when I see what they're doing in the United Kingdom generally, because they're different about their characters and how they portray them. And that's what I love, like you said, the variety of everybody that's out there. I know that if I look on a television show, I may see something that is particularly hood. That's fine.
That's okay.
That's right. That's fine, because that is a part of the world that we live in, and that's a part of the cloth and the fabric that we've sewn into America. And then I can look at another story, and I love seeing the stories from abroad and the Caribbean and inside of the American experience and outside of the American experience, because that's who we are. And that's who I'm going to come across. And in any given day, so I went to get my hair braided the other day, and I was in Senegal for that particular time. Went down the street to a particular restaurant, and then I was in the Caribbean.
Jamaica.
That's right.
Got some jerk chicken.
Get some jerk chicken. Right. So all of those things, I love the choice. Now, sometimes I will have to go look for that choice because we are still behind, but at least there's more choice.
Yeah. I appreciate also that now we have more people on both sides of the camera.
Yes.
Because if we're going to tell our stories, we can't just tell our stories as the talent. That story has to be told from the production side, from the producer, from the director, I'm happy that now, like when people were younger, they only saw in front of the camera. Like,
Sure, yeah,
I only want to be an actor, because they didn't know all of the people behind the scenes that brought this together, who made decisions, who wrote the words, who did all those things. So I'm really grateful that more of us are transitioning behind the scenes, because that's so important. I know that's why I'm so excited. Like, I love directing. Directing is like my jam. And I was directing this project, and it was for Hallmark, which, traditionally tells a lot of really white stories. They're good stories, but it's a
Was
lot
this
of
a Christmas story by
this
chance?
one wasn't.
Oh, it wasn't. Okay.
This one wasn't. I've done a lot of Christmas movies, but this one was Girlfriendship. And it was the story, Tamara Mowry Housley. She was my number one in it. Amazing. Loved. And so even that, like the fact that we grew up in the business together, having the opportunity to work with her director, my husband actually played in it as well. But it was funny. What I loved being on the other side is, you know, we're telling the story of them going to this retreat and making the wrong choice and ended up at this Gullah Geechee like wellness retreat opposed to this like turned up retreat.